The governor has proposed a $200 million tax hike. What do you think about that?
I've got some serious concerns about any tax hike. We're in an economy where we're still 37,000 jobs below where we were at the peak prior to the recession. And that means more than 5 years these people have been out of work. So 37,000 people out of work for more than 5 years. And the governor's planning on taxing more and spending more. And that's just not the right thing to do at this time. And a lot of the tax ideas that he has, we've hashed those out time and time again. I've been here 13 years and I've seen these things hashed out 3 or 4 times. Most of these, the legislature opted not to pass in the past, and they've been in those previous packages. Some of the ones that have been passed, the voters have repealed. So it's really time to put this issue to rest. Let's stop focusing on taxing people more, and let's start focusing on getting people back to work.
Is raising the minimum wage a good idea or a bad idea?
I've heard a lot of arguments from people saying it's a good idea and that by raising it, all these employees have more money to spend in the economy. The flaw with that whole thought process, however, is it will cost the employer more to give that raise than what the employee will get out of that raise. What a lot of people don't realize is when you look at your paycheck and you look at all of the money that's been withheld for taxes, for Social Security and all those other things, there is a contribution that the employer has to make on top of that. They have to contribute to Social Security on your behalf, to Medicare on your behalf, and they have to pay unemployment insurance. And anytime you raise somebody's wages, those are all factored as a percentage of the total wage. So that's going to increase the cost to the employer that much more than what they actually give to the employee. That's money being taken out of the economy. And in all likelihood, it's going to force that employer to cut either employee hours or cut employees. And ultimately, the employee is going to go home with less money than they go home with now.
What can the legislature do to encourage job creation?
Well, the first thing, let's stop raising taxes. Let's stop adding regulations. I've talked with a number of employers who want to hire somebody back. Right now, they have the need. They're prepared to hire somebody back. But when they look at all of the bills that are coming through the legislature, and they don't know if those are going to pass, they don't know which ones are going to pass, they don't know what the agencies are going to do with rule writing. And so they're holding back and saying, you know, if they don't do any of those things to us, we'd be fine, we'd hire back right now. But because we don't know if they're going to do something, we can't hire somebody back on right now. And one of the problems is with the unemployment insurance. Because the way that system works, if somebody wanted to hire somebody back on now and just said, okay, well, if a tax increases or a regulation increases and I have to lay somebody off later, then we'll do that. We'll at least get them working for now. The problem with that is once they lay somebody off, it goes against their experience rating and it raises their unemployment insurance costs for everybody that they keep on. So we've got to address the issues of getting people back to work. That's what we need to do. So we need to deal with the regulatory issues. One of the things that I proposed in the past is a rulemaking moratorium. I asked former Governor Gregoire back in 2010 to do a rulemaking moratorium. She did it. Unfortunately, she left too many loopholes in there, big enough to drive the Department of Ecology through, and they kept driving through it full speed. She boasted about how many rules were prevented from being written under that moratorium. It was about 270. But what she forgets to tell everybody is, even though there was a moratorium on rulemaking, 1,400 new rules were still written in that 1-year period. And that's the uncertainty that I talked about with the employers. And we just need to get at that issue. We need to stop the rules for a while. Make it only those that are absolutely necessary. You can't tell me all 1,400 of those rules were absolutely necessary. And we do know that they are absolutely costly to our employers.